What is shaking, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. Yes, it is Wednesday. We got my man Oasis in the house. What's shaking, dude?
What's going on, man? Happy to be back.
Oh man, yeah, we missed you last week, dude.
Missed out on quite an action on Monday, right?
Yeah, man. Missed you. So today we're gonna be talking about 3 content creation hacks that's going to save you a shit ton of time. You're going to be more productive and you're going to build a stronger authority with your audience. So I've been on social media now for probably 8 years, and the past 6 have been very, very intentional. And every year, always trying to improve and always trying to level up the game from tech and audio visual all the way to content creation. And I think one of the big problems that we see today is that we all could agree that there is a surplus of content out there these days. So it's very easy to get washed out and drown out in all of the content that's being produced. So how do you stand out? And we're going to get into that in just a second. But before we get in there, I want to double check my mic because, yeah, we got the right.
And while you do that, so, I want to add on to that. So you said surplus of content and surplus of distractions.
Talking about that in agreement.
Right? Yeah. So, just distractions, and so everyone, all businesses are just competing for your customers' attentions.
Amen.
So
how do we do that?
It's prime real estate. Yeah. So how do you get into that prime real estate is through a hook. So it's a problem that Henry and I are constantly solving for our clients.
Yeah, well, how do you develop that hook, right?
Yeah.
How do you develop that hook? And that's something that I want to talk to you about in this framework that Oasis and I use for these live streams and the podcast and so on. And it's the APSFA. It's the APSFA framework. And what that means is it's A as in Apple, P as in Paul, V as in Victor, A as in Apple. So the first A stands for attention. You got to grab their attention. The second part of the content needs to press on a problem. So that's the P. So what problem are we addressing in this content? The next part of the content is the solution. So how are we actually creating the value and distributing the value of that piece of content? So how is it going to help them? What is their life going to be like after they consume that piece of content? Then they need to visualize what that's going to look like. This is a part where I used to miss all the time. You have to speak directly to what that life is like afterwards. I'm going to talk to you about this soon in this video, because my life is so much less stressed when it comes to creating content because I have a system, and I'm going to show you that system a little bit later. So you can actually visualize what this looks like, right? And then last but not least, it's what action do you want them to take? And I think a lot of folks that aren't as heavily entrenched into marketing and branding as Oasis and I tend to forget that piece, because we assume, okay, we put out the content, we checked all the boxes based on what I just said, but we expect that the viewer or the listener or the person consuming that piece of content knows what to do next. And I think that's where we forget. We have to drive them down the funnel. We have to tell them where we want them to go. And we have to act as the tour guide for our brand so they know where to go next. And I see Peter here says, Facebook going down was probably the best thing to happen to the world in a long time, especially for business owners, less distractions. So it was nice. Yeah, you're not kidding, dude. You're not kidding. Hammer here says, if you need Facebook to go down in order to control your life, you really need to look at how you run your day and your life. Just saying, Hammer's Hammer it's got a point. You know,
Yeah.
But
this is indicative. You know, these two statements tell us a big story in terms of the level of distractions that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it goes back to my initial statement, which is, again, how do you look, acknowledging that all of that is out there, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, or any other distractions that are out there. But at the end of the day, for us business owners, and especially for marketers, it's up to us to really sort through that noise and help our clients gain clarity in terms of how they're uniquely positioned in the marketplace. And then, of course, how to hook on to the attention of very limited attention of their clients.
Yes. So let's share with the folks the hacks that we prepared, right? So the first hack is developing that format of the content outline, or that content framework, and that's the APSFA framework. Again, grab attention, press on the pain, create the solution, visualize what life is like after they get through that piece of content, and then the action you want them to take. So that's hack number one. Hack number two, especially if you're on video, because I see videos really picking up some massive steam. What I do is I go to YouTube, and I have a competitor's analysis checklist, right? And I have a bunch of competitors that I follow on YouTube. So what I do is I go to their YouTube channel, right? And I'll go, let's say we'll take 3. So I have about a dozen competitors that I follow, but I'll choose 3 that week, right? And I'll go to their YouTube channel, and I will go to their, if you go to videos and then you type, and then you click the little filter that says most viewed, okay? That will populate and push up all of their most viewed videos. Some have hundreds of thousands of views. So I'm like, holy crap, look at this content idea. Look at this title, the way they've written it. Yeah. And I just start to make a little sort of swipe file of some of those titles. And then I'll watch a little bit of the video to see where their point of view is. So I know where they're coming from. So I know I want to create my own point of view on this topic, but that gives me a shit ton of topic ideas. And one of the things that I learned about YouTube is YouTube's channel is this particular platform, you know, like they say in the stock market, like what happens in the past doesn't really predict the future. They say that a lot in the stock market, but in YouTube, a lot of what happened in the past does create a little bit of success or somewhat success in the future if you reuse titles or tweak titles and repurpose that piece of content, but through your point of view. That seems to work really, really well. So what I'll do is I'll go to 3 different competitors and I'll do that same action. I'll find up their top viewed videos and I'll say, oh, that's a really interesting topic that I'm passionate about. I want to put my version of it out there. And YouTube will rank you right next to that video when you publish it. So that's another hack that I've used over the past 90 days to create endless topics for content that are relevant to my audience, that are proven to get the views because YouTube is showing you how many people viewed it. Yeah. It's very simple, right? That's
amazing. That's a really good hack.
Yeah. I mean, it'll really laser focus down what you should be putting out there, what you should be talking about. And I'm not saying, and if the video is like super old, then keep that in mind, right? Because maybe that content isn't relevant anymore. But if you see a video that got a tremendous amount of views and it's, you know, it was posted a week ago or 3 days ago, yeah, you should be talking about that. You should be talking about that. Yeah. Hammer says, great tips. No, I appreciate you, dude. All right. Then the last thing is I've been doing this, and I was telling Oasis this before we went live. I've been doing this for about 90 days now, and it has tremendously streamlined the way I create my content. So some of you guys may see this. This may look familiar to you. This is, I could do this, doesn't make it that much bigger. This is inside a Basecamp, and I have a board that's called Content Distribution System. And so what I will do in the beginning of every week, right, is I will create and batch the entire next week's content. Okay. And this is how I do it. So Monday's podcast. So this is the week of October 4th and 8th. Right. So I'll create my thumbnail. Monday's podcast is I'll put the title. I'll put then Monday's YouTube short. I'll upload that into Dropbox and I'll put that here. All right. So then I'll put a little, what do you call that? Separation. And then Tuesday's carousel. And I will map out the carousel for Instagram for my Tuesday piece of content. And I will create the text for it. Now, I have a team that designs this for me now. I don't design it anymore. So my team will pick this up, create the carousel, and then drop it back into Basecamp. I'll pick it up and publish it, or they will publish it on my behalf. So that's Tuesday's content. And then I will automatically put in the hashtags and the caption of that piece of content. Okay. Then and then I'll say when to post it. Then Tuesday, this is Tuesday's YouTube short, and I'll post that in here. Same thing for Wednesday. I'll have my Wednesday reel ready to go with caption and hashtags. So I'm pre-planning the entire week ahead so that when Monday comes, I go into this Basecamp board. Everything is there waiting for me. And it's, it's the old, what do you call it? It's called batching, really. It's very simple. Yeah. It's a simple concept that's been around for ages. But this has helped me. So this takes me, I'll tell you, takes me about an hour. Very rarely does it take me an hour and a half. Maybe an hour 10 at max to lay this out for the week ahead. That's it. And then all I have to do is trigger my team and they publish everything for me because everything is right here for them, or I do it. I used to do it. But now they publish it on my behalf. So it just tees you up for the week ahead and you got everything laid out for you. Because let's be honest, guys. The week comes, things pop up, and now we're scrambling to try to put out that piece of content that day. And then we miss the day. And then we're all pissed off at the end of the day. Oh, shit, I forgot to post that YouTube short today. I didn't post anything on Instagram today. What kind of and now you start to get demotivated. Come on, guys, raise your hand. How many times this happened to you in the past? Right? You're like, oh shit, now 3 days has gone by and you're now you're like, you know what? This shit's like a second job. I don't want to do this anymore.
It becomes an endless cycle.
Right. So I think it's a good use of time. You spend the hour up front, you batch it up, you lay it all out for yourself, you tee it all up, and then the next week comes and you just got your boom. It's done. And yeah, so I see Michelle here. She's saying, I could create a color-coded drag and drop board for Trello for this hack. Yeah, maybe each day is a different color or something like that. And you just load it up. And then the one thing that I will say is I like to keep it a little flexible. So maybe on Monday, I will do like Monday, Tuesday's worth. I'll fill out Monday and Tuesday. and then maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I will finish Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The only reason why I do that sometimes is because something may pop up that's super relevant.
Yeah.
Right. That I want to include, because I don't want to seem tone deaf that following week, especially if I could ride the wave of some sort of viral thing that happened. Right. So I'll break that up. It doesn't. So maybe it'll take me half an hour on Monday and a half an hour on Tuesday or Wednesday, and the week will be done. Right. So I'll break it up a little bit. So, I want to give you some flexibility there, but those are the 3 hacks, guys. You rinse and repeat these 3 things, and your life is going to get a hell of a lot easier when it comes to creating content. But I think the biggest thing that we need to pay attention to and spend a little bit more time on before we wrap up today is creating the relevant content that people want to consume these days. So what do you think? I almost called you Terrell. I had a meeting with him earlier today. Always, what are some things that you could suggest that people watching today should be putting into their content other than the apps for framework?
Yeah.
That's really going to make it more punchy, because I think that's what's going to grab people's attention and keep them.
Yeah. No, a couple of the things that I like that I learned from just your conversation earlier is deconstructing some of those titles that are getting the massive hits and the massive views on YouTube. And I mean, you could do the same thing on LinkedIn or Instagram, Facebook. I'm not too familiar with, but again, what's getting the most views and why, and how is that relevant? I would start off from that, and then of course, what is it that you care about? What is it that your clients care about? I always go back to that. And my shortcut very recently, I would say in the past couple of months, has been just writing ahead of time, writing out my thoughts as much as possible. It doesn't have to be on a specific topic, but if my message is clear on certain things, then I start developing specific taglines around it.
Yeah.
If my understanding is deep enough on certain topics or about what it is that I do for my clients, the value that I bring to my clients, well, then I can write 3 different versions around that. And guess what? Just very similar to your strategy on batching for the week. Now I have 3 different versions that I can include as part of my caption, that I can include as part of my blogs, that I can include as part of my mass emails. So now I'm not having to, put together this long form email all from scratch. Now I can bring in small little pieces from different from different written pieces that I've done before, and say, you know what, I think this would be relevant here. Yeah. So now I'm only responsible for discussing maybe a paragraph or 2 worth of content that's related to that particular topic.
I like it. I like it.
So it creates more efficiency.
Here's another thing that's coming up that's super relevant in my world right now. So it's still a little too premature. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. But I am breaking into a new industry with a partner. And I am doing a heavy immersion into this industry over the past few weeks. And so I'm digging into YouTube videos, and I'm digging into different brands that have been pretty much established in this industry, that are coming out on top. And I'm watching how they prepare their content, because here's what happens. We get into this microcosm. Maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, but we get into this micro universe once we dive in. And this is what I struggled with, I would say, over the past couple of years. When I first dove into digital marketing and funnels and stuff like that, right? I went heavy into that world. And what happened was I started to sound like everybody else. My content looked like everybody else. And I was talking about the same things that everybody else was talking about. And I basically looked and felt like everybody else. So now that I am studying this other industry, I'm noticing the way they put together their content. And I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. And it's really interesting. They have an ask a, they have different playlists on their channel. And they'll be like, ask a bartender. I'll just give you an example. Like, ask a bartender. This isn't the industry I'm studying, but it's ask a bartender. And then they'll have 3 or 4 different bartenders featured, and the bartender will answer the question that is the title of the video, right? And the video will be no more than 2.5 minutes long. So you could rip through a dozen videos in a sitting. What does that do to your channel ranking?
Increase
like crazy, right? And they're touching, so there's different styles in different industries. So what I want to encourage you to do is go to a different industry and seek out some of the top content creators in that industry and see how they're delivering their content and take some notes. This way you kind of get out of that micro universe of your industry, you know, and you come at it with a different vibe.
Yeah, you got to step out of your own bubble.
Yeah, or your industry's bubble.
Yeah,
yeah, because I was getting burnt the hell out. I mean, how many videos can I make about funnels? How many videos can I make about Reels and Instagram and right? How many videos can I make of that about that stuff? And there's a gazillion other
redundant. People. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to get redundant, and I mean, just monotonous for all your audience as well.
Yeah. So you know, we have so much content that we've created over the years, where if I went back and just took a snippet out of one piece of content and created an answer to a question with it, I would have content for days. So like this video here, it's 23 minutes long thus far, and I could probably create 10 pieces of mini content out of this if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, that's another content hack that you could do is strip the, you know, cut down some of the longer form content you have into mini stuff and take that mini content or micro content and drive it back to the big content like this. You know, we do that with our podcast. So those are some hacks.
Without content. You know, if let's say if your forte or if your strength is writing a long form blog, well, start breaking that down. See how you can leverage that exact same written piece of content. And now you want to discuss a very specific idea out of there. Okay, well, go ahead and create that create a 60-second video out of it.
Yeah.
Or take that exact same stuff and now break that down into a more digestible piece on social media for carousels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I see a lot of guys doing that. So
not everybody's a video guy like us. So we have to keep that in mind. But like, I'm thinking out loud here for a second, right? If I was a writer and I really liked to blog and I was doing blogs like I do videos, every H1 title in that blog could be its own piece of content. Think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's a great hack to create more content out of one big piece of content. Right? So
I would encourage everyone in the audience and just in general, this is what's helped me. You know, I used to get writer's block all the time. I used to be very unclear in terms of what I was bringing to the table and the value that I was providing to my clients, right, or helping them gain in working with me. But the more and more that I forced myself to write, the clearer it became to me exactly what it is. So I started drawing the connection between A to Z in terms of how what we do now adds to or leads to business performance for our clients. But it came through just continuous practice of writing and just writing it down and formulating and just distilling down to just simplified thoughts.
Yeah. I think that's what the world needs today is simplified thoughts and keeping it basic. You know what I mean? Like you keep it you keep it basic, you keep it fresh, you check all the boxes and you keep it consistent, you're going to win. Like
definitely.
So that's something that I just want to hammer home. You know, don't worry about your views. Don't worry about their comments. Don't worry about any of that stuff. This is what you got to worry about. I'll be honest with you guys. You got to worry about if it makes you happy or not. And that was a big takeaway I got from my coach last week. It's like, bro, if it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. Do something else.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time. Right. And so, listen, I love doing this video. So I don't give a fuck that there's 2 people here, 3 people here, 10 people here, or 50 people here. I don't. I love getting out here and chatting it up with you every week, always chatting it up with the people in the comments and like just being of service and talking about things that are relevant and that are going to help people grow and build their business. Like that's what I love to do. And so I'm not really concerned about the numbers. And when this gets boring and this doesn't fill me up anymore, you won't see me anymore. I'll just do something else. Like I love freaking Legos at the moment. I've been buying all these crazy Legos recently. And like I come in after dinner into my office. I set up my desk behind me. I put on some music and I just build Legos, like especially Star Wars stuff. So if you want to send me Star Wars Legos, I'll give you my address.
I saw that, by the way. I think all your posts. I think it was on Sunday. You did a Star Wars Lego.
Yeah, I'm in this helmet kick right now. So I'm doing like the whole helmet collection. So I'm working on Boba Fett right now. I got the Scout Trooper done. He came out pretty awesome. Let me show you. Total nerd alert here. Total nerd alert. So we got my Scout Trooper all done. And
so is this something that you're doing with your son, or this is just something for you?
This is just for me. Like he comes in and tries to like be the foreman. He likes to come in and see the end result. But I've done some stuff for him. Like I've done little cars with him and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, man, it just keeps me, I don't know. I just get super joy out of creating these things and seeing the final piece done and just like following the directions. I don't know. It lights me up and I love doing it. And I just realized, not to get all personal, but over the past 2 months of my life in 2021, I have experienced too much death. And it is a rude awakening that I am a mortal soul and I will not be here forever. I could be gone tomorrow. I could be gone in 20 years. I don't know. So if I'm not doing what lights me up every day, then that's wasted time, in my opinion. So I just have a whole new appreciation for life, and life is too short to be doing shit that you don't like to do. And so I just want to leave you there because I think it's a great way to wrap up the show. And just keep that in mind, guys. You know, when you're on the fence about putting in the work to create the content that's going to attract the right people to bring in the business that you need, make sure you're doing the content in a way that brings you joy and that helps other people. That's how you grow. And it's that simple. It's that basic. I wish it was more, but it's not. So there you have it, guys. So before we run, I just want to let everybody know that I am open to enrolling a few more people into the Branding on Demand program. And this program is for small business owners, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors that are stuck when it comes to branding. And they don't know what offers to put out. They don't know what type of messaging is going to connect. They don't know a social media strategy. They don't have a social media strategy, or they don't have a platform strategy to help them bring in new business, or their brand may be outdated, or they're moving into a new industry and they don't know how to reposition. The Branding on Demand program is going to have you working with me one-on-one on strategy. And then you could also leverage my team and build out some really cool stuff from a branding aesthetic standpoint that you're not going to get on Fiverr. You're not going to get from 99 Designs. You're not going to get from Design Pickle. You're going to get it from my exclusive team that has been in the industry for a combined 30, 40 years. So I want to open up enrollment to the Branding on Demand program. Again, this is the URL to enroll, and you can enroll in 3 different tiers. Right there's the URL, and I'll also have it in the description as well. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. So have an amazing day, guys, and we will catch you next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Take care.